yank it out.
Hello and welcome to the Guildball World Team Championship. You're here with your Steamforged host Jamie
and Alex. So here we are, round one. It is HP and Manu are our first two players. We have Manu as butchers. He's running a lineup of fillet, truffles, meat hook boar, shank, and veteran ox. And then we have HP playing as engineers, using Pinvice, Mother, Ratchet, Hoist, Velocity, and Colossus. So I believe the engineer player has received.
Yes,
and it looks like it's veteran ox that kicked.
Yes, correct. No, it's an interesting matchup that we've seen a couple of times now. Engineers are quite a popular guild at the moment, and it seems to be one of the more standard builds for them. Yeah,
it's decently tanky going into what is predominantly a kill-focused team. The Butcher's team definitely has the damage output to take players out as long as they choose the right players to go in on.
Yep, definitely Hoist.
Yep,
easiest
Hoist.
model to take out.
A nice, easy model. I mean, you look at that team, there's a standout player in Ratchet that will go down really easily.
Yeah.
Colossus, if you can get
potentially, but
I mean, you can get wraps, you can start racking it up with damage buffs.
Yeah.
The tough hide obviously comes in, but outside of that, I mean, it's a generally very tanky team. Even down to the mascot. I mean, Mother's not easy to get rid of. She definitely requires some commitment.
And for 1VP, you don't really want to commit that when you could go after something else.
Yep. Yeah, but the target selection is going to be super important. Fillet can score.
Yep.
Shank can score.
It's an interesting one. Like Shank's a player that we don't normally see for butchers nowadays. He seems to have fallen out of love a little bit.
Yeah. I think there's players that feel like the drop in efficiency had just sort of knocked him out of favour just enough.
Previously, he was, in my opinion, just a bit too good. He was almost captain level, doing captain level shenaniganry.
It was just the potential to be able to get a bit of everything out of everything.
Like to sprint or charge, tackle the ball, which he does very, very reliably. Where'd they go away? Have a shot. So,
I mean, the players that played the game back in Season 1 who remember Decimate.
Oh, 2-inch Decimate.
When Decimate lost her 2-inch melee in a relatively early Season 1 errata, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Shank and Decimate were very similar players.
Yes.
You had Shank, who I believe was a bit faster because he had Where'd They Go.
He's got Where'd They Go and the damage target.
And then Decimate had the anatomical precision.
Yeah.
But they were kind of the two main differences between the players. Both playbook and play style was very similar, where it's sort of you're always dodging towards the goal.
Yeah.
But you're also getting damage for free out of that because it's just attached to the dodges that you want anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, slight drop of efficiency with Shank. Really good with the wing back card if you can play right. Judging on where it's deployed, I'm sure you can move over, but I would assume if you have that card,
wing back, you either deploy him close to a board edge, or you deploy him a little bit further off the back off the line, so that you can move within 8 inches of your own sort of deployment line board edge.
So as we go forward, just while we're looking at the activation to go and recover the ball, generally speaking, is it Mother? Is it? Or is that Velocity?
It looks like Velocity. Mother's central there next to
Velocity is going to go and pick up the ball, go back and get that ball moving. We'll very quickly cover the rules of a WTC game, though. I'm sure we have some people watching this who aren't familiar with how WTC works. This year, the WTC is in Belgium.
Yep.
Lovely venue.
Yeah,
amazing venue.
Is it right? Am I right in saying it's the Florian Hotel?
It is indeed the Florian Hotel. Got a beach, like 10-minute walk away.
Yep, if this game is over quickly, that's where we'll be headed.
That's where we're heading off.
Yep.
Great. I mean, just everything's been great. Really well planned. Everything's been well arranged. Everything has managed to keep to time.
Staff, the guys running it, the sort of independent guys running this event, have been absolutely fantastic and hugely accommodating to us in the streaming room. They're bending over backwards to try and get us sorted.
I mean, this is not a Steamforged event. We've come here to help cover it, but we have not been involved with the organisation of it at all.
No.
But just to talk you through the WTC rules and how that works, WTC does of course mean World Team Championships.
Yep.
Broken down, that is teams from around the world playing Guildball. So each nation
Up to 3 teams per nation, and
Each
then
nation
3
can have,
players per team.
Yes, correct. So each team can have up to 3 teams representing their nation. Then that goes down into your... So that would be 9... Say you took 3, you'd have 9 players in total. Each team has 3 players in it. Those players can select any guild. You can duplicate guilds, but you cannot duplicate captains.
Yeah,
so say you've got 2 Brewers players in one team.
Yep.
They can't both take Tapper and Esters. One would have to only have Tapper, one could only have Esters.
Correct, yeah.
So it should help keep the field nice and diverse, which is really nice going forward. One thing I will say is not all teams all nations, have 3 teams representing them.
Yep.
Some only have 1, some have 2, some do have 3.
We have a team from Ivory Coast as attendance from Africa, which is incredible. That was unexpected by everyone, I think.
Yep.
WTC, though it is WTC, and for the world, tends to be Europe, America, Australia, and then a few other places. So it's really cool to see a team from Africa attending.
Do we have any Australian teams?
No, we do have the Aussie Scrub with us.
We do.
JJ Layfield, who dominated the British Championship stream by taking up half the games.
Yep. So hopefully we won't see any more.
We'll see
of
if
his
he's there
nonsense.
this time. Yeah, I'm sure he'll end up on it as some by hook or by crook.
Yeah,
we'll get onto the stream.
Managed to scrape his way in there. He'll take a. That's another thing we haven't covered yet. I was about to say, take a weird matchup for him just so he can get on the streaming table. So the way it works is, when the pairings are drawn, it will be a team versus a team.
Yep.
Once that's been sort of resolved as who's playing who, you then have your 3 players.
Yep.
One team will put forward their...
If they put forward a player, then the opposing team selects a guild to go against it and chooses a table matchup. That team that just chose the matchup then puts forward a guild, and the team that put forward the original guild then chooses the matchup on the table, and the remaining 2 play on the remaining area.
So there is a degree of sort of tactics that go into what you're aware as being good matchups and bad matchup for players, and playing around trying to make the one that is the pair of players left over as strong for you as you possibly can. If
you choose second, you know you have a little bit more control over what's going to happen next. Which is an interesting concept going into it. It also means that sort of your guilds that you put forward, you want to have an all-rounder guild to go forwards that can deal with most things. So you probably put forward your engineers, let's say, because they can go take out heavy, or they can go.
You can have a deep enough roster to be able to sort of
react.
And shield your hand a bit. You go into that where you're like, there's nothing that they can put into my roster that's particularly at an advantage.
Yeah.
So they need to consider where they're going as they go forward. It's super interesting. But outside of those like small changes, once the game starts,
it's exactly the same.
It's just regular rules, the same as any organised play that you play within Guildball. The only difference being your team needs to win it. So every result you ever get through will either be a 2-1 or a 3-0, because one of the teams will win 2 of the games, or they will win all 3. And that's how it's resolved. So your performance as an individual player, though important because you need to win your point for the round for your team,
you're also relying on your teammates to win, one of the other 2 to at least win their games to make sure your team wins the round.
And we always see a good old-fashioned throw under the bus.
Oh, of course.
Good old-fashioned... Right,
this is your round.
We're really advantaged in these 2 games.
If you win it, great. If you lose, that's what's expected this round.
Yeah, it's kind of that. Ideally, whenever you're looking at the sort of matchups, you're looking for 2 favourable ones.
Yeah.
And if someone's going to take a kick in for the expense of those 2 favourable ones, that's just how it goes.
Put in a good show.
Yeah.
Coming back to this game, something we saw quite early on, I was looking at it, was that Pimvice took the dodge 4 inches forwards, obviously spending the momentum to do so. So I reckon we might see either a charge forward to bounce off potentially Truffles the pig there, who's next to those boxes, with a goal run, or we might even see the legendary to get a ton of momentum, go first, and score with Pimvice from a dodge off of it.
A Sherwin-esque attempt.
Without failing at the first one if you watch the last stream. The template that we saw go down was a Blood Rain from Fillet. It looks like the bombs from Ratchet are getting thrown out here. Hits Fillet and misses the piggy. So play now passing back to the Butchers, and it looks like there's just Meat Hook and Boar at the top there, and Veteranox left to go.
Yep.
Oh no, Shank, sorry. So 4-inch dodge from Shank. Where'd they go forwards? And I expect to walk and just hit on the Colossus there twice to get some momentum.
Yep. But apparently not.
Maybe not.
Yeah, no.
Charging Colossus. That seems a little bit inefficient. Obviously, you can't see the range particularly well from up here. But that looks in range to just walk, to me. But he's elected to charge.
Yeah, realistically, with the tough hide, I don't know if you're going to be able to hit a wrap that gets you a momentous result.
Yeah, well, you get your dodge, so that's momentous. So you still get the momentum even though the damage doesn't go through.
Yes.
For Shank. But attacking twice at 6 dice on a 2-2 model, you should expect to get at least one hit to get 2 momentum off of this. I don't know what the charge gains over.
I think you'd be going. That's a more efficient way. Basically, what I was saying was he goes for the charge, he can get the wrap
and do the exact same outcome.
It's more efficient. Well, it's more likely if you just take the walk in and pair of attacks.
So after all that, it was 2 hits. He does the. I think he chose the. Maybe he did get the wrap and did it onto. He put 2 momentum down. It takes 2 inches worth of dodges and just does the 1 damage twice, I think. Because no damage was marked onto. Near there. Alright, interesting KG game. Oh, we should mention the nations that are playing. It is Finland versus Switzerland.
Probably should start with that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, that would have made sense. And we apologise for this not being live streamed during the event. So hopefully you are watching this on YouTube, and we can only see in the future what happens. We've not got internet connection at the moment, which is a little bit upsetting, but fortunately we do have the equipment to record these, so hopefully you're watching in the future and don't know the results yet.
Yep.
Obviously, you'll know who's won the WTC because I'm sure they'll be shouting about it. But you won't know the results of these individual games.
This is it's a funny one where at the last event we did the commentary on the British champs. The atmosphere was very
tense. Big prize.
I'm not sure if anyone is here that isn't nursing a hangover outside of us.
It definitely seems that way.
And it's a very jovial atmosphere. Mainly, you're essentially here playing for pride.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that everyone cares about pride or is just here to have a good time.
There's definitely the 2 ends of the spectrum. You've got the very competitive teams such as England and USA. They really want to do well and prove that they are the best nation in the world at Guildball, as well as Germany. They're pretty hyped up for the event. And then you've got the other nations, typically the sort of European nations who are here to drink.
Well, and a lot of
and catch up with friends.
Because of the location, you've got a lot of teams that have brought 3
players.
A lot of nations, that have brought 3 teams.
Yes.
And they have, I'll call them Team 1.
Yeah.
And they are the players that have sort of registered interest in saying, I want to come and win this for our nation.
Yeah.
And then you've got Team 2 and Team 3 who are like, we want to come along and have a laugh.
Yeah.
And they may end up doing better than the teams. Ultimately, the numbers don't support a huge amount.
I believe we've just seen the ball miss a pass and scatter off into the engineers' home field.
Yeah.
Deployment zone. Oh, sorry, I think it was Veteranox charged in against Pimvice by the looks of it and managed to get the knockdown.
And then the ball scattered.
And the ball bounced away. It's not great for the engineers there.
Nope.
And good work by Ox for being able to get that charge in and hit the knockdown on the Def 5 model.
Yeah.
I believe the engineers had no momentum, so couldn't defensive stance to make it 6s. And makes you wonder whether that 4-inch dodge to begin with was worthwhile or not.
I mean, that 4-inch dodge put Pimvice in range in the first place. So.
I mean, when the piggy was up there earlier, potentially just activate early, get the goal.
Yeah.
As soon as the goal's on the table, it's always worth taking, unless you're in that losing position.
Well, it very much kind of forces the... You look at the players that are left to activate after you've scored that goal, and the potential of being able to get the ball off them.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, the only player that engineer's team struggles to get the ball off is going to be Phil herself.
Yeah. I mean, the rest are 4s, 1 or lower.
And, I mean, engineers have low down momentous tackles on playbooks. On 5s only protects you for so long against that.
Yeah.
And then you've got the fact that fillet, there's the kind of the psychological angle of it. If I'm 4 down,
I need to get a goal.
If I get a takeout and a goal in one activation, I'm ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, assuming the dice go as you'd expect them, at that point you're essentially 8-6 down.
Yeah.
And then it goes 10-6. Sorry, then it goes 10-8, and then you've lost.
Yes.
It's all about being aware of what you're giving your opponent by making the play you're going for.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, in this sort of lineup, I don't see how going for a goal... Generally speaking, you time a goal at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
I don't see if there was any disadvantage to taking that goal earlier in the turn this time.
Interestingly, we'd have a Butcher team with 3 2-inch melee models. Something we discuss and wax lyrical at length about is having plenty of 2-inch melee zones, and there are 3 in this guild, whereas there's only 1 in the engineers lineup.
Because no one loves Compound.
No one seems to like Compound.
Poor Compound.
He's a fantastic player.
He's so good. We all like. Who would you in this engineers lineup? Who would you drop for Compound?
I'd probably drop Colossus myself. So I'd still be only at 1 2-inch melee model. However, Compound is one of those players who can just sit back for when he's there, be a threat, and maybe put up just horrific odor at the start of each turn and be like, right, shooting's difficult for you. You need to be less efficient when you're coming in.
Yep.
Engineers go forwards and take up the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the lineup in general, and the usual sort of plays jump out at me. Your workhorses are going to be Pin, Vice, Hoist, and Velocity. They're the ones that you can throw out there. They're generally pretty safe. Ratchet doesn't generally want influence for what you've got him there for, which is, generally speaking, overclocked.
Overclocked, tooled up.
Fixer. All of those things are free.
Yeah.
Well, momentum, but don't cost influence.
Yes. I mean, you might throw one influence on him just to get it tooled up. If you've got momentum early enough in the turn.
Yeah. Yep. And Colossus just seems like one of those players that needs influence to do things.
To do anything, yeah.
I feel like with the Hoist, Velocity and Colossus,
yeah,
I don't know if it's overly important which one of those ones goes for Compound, but it would be one of those just as I need to remove a player from this pitch that needs influence for one that doesn't need it to do something and make some.
Well, I think if you're going with Mother, then you definitely want Hoist there because you've got such shenanigans to just jump around the pitch and make free attacks from when you burrow. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think we're seeing a Boar activation here going in, trying to just do some damage onto onto Pimvice by the looks of it. I'm going to have a horrible time this game because I always get Pimvice and Fillet's models mixed up when on the table because they are pretty similar looking from a top-down point of view. So I apologise right now for having Boar attack Fillet frequently. Defensive stance from Pimvice there has made Boar's charge only do 1 damage because he got 1 success.
Poor Boar.
But it just triggered Berserk, so we swing again. Looking for 5s, doesn't look like 3. I'll take the knockdown on that one. 5 health left with Reanimate. So it takes the knockdown. Probably try and bring her down, reanimate, get rid of it.
Yeah, on 4s. How many dice is it?
He's
9
rolling
dice,
8.
is it? Because of the crowd out from Ox?
If he's still in range, yes, yeah. So 8, and then 9, and bonus timing as well to get 10 dice.
So I'm guessing looking for the 3 on the playbook?
Yeah, or you look for concussion and just take away some of that influence. I mean, on this one, you probably want to do damage to make sure that you... It's got 4 hits.
Which is 3 damage if he wants it.
Momentous 3, so 2 health left. Plus reanimate. So 1 more swing will finish her, take away the reanimate, take away the knockdown as well. 2 health left. You would expect her to drop on this one. Not bonus timing, just 9 dice. And Nest Marker there being pointed out, you should be losing 1 dice from this, but too far gone to rectify that. 3, going for a 1-inch push. Interesting. So, doesn't want to trigger reanimate, keep her knocked down, do that in someone else's activation, probably Fillet or Veteranox's. And
Fillet's safer, but I mean, I'm not sure if that influence is laid out. That looks like 3 on Fillet.
yeah. It looks like quite an even spread around the team. Like it looks like 1 on Meat Hook, 3 potentially more on Fillet, 1 or 2 on Vetronox. Obviously the 1 on Boar, and then 2 on Shank there as well. So a pretty reactive, I'd say, is.
So you look at the way the table is laid out currently. The defensive stance to take Fillet to 6s, though it neutered the charge slightly.
Pinvice.
Sorry, Pinvice. I've done what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
But you hit that point where it's damage limitation.
Yes.
But I'm not sure it was worth it.
Keep that momentum to
in a position where he cut. You've got I believe it was 5 influence on Pinvice, and there is nothing Pinvice can do in that situation. No. She's not engaging any models, so she can't just sacrifice her movement, stand up and hit something.
Away, yeah.
Doesn't have any momentum to clear the conditions, so Pinvice just has. She's dead in the water here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Well, that's why we're seeing a hoist activation now to go in and try and hit Ox to generate some momentum.
Leave 1 left so she can use that to clear. And then probably spend 2 to heal her.
Yes. Yep. And swinging on Ox and hoist there, looking for push dodges to try and generate momentum. I believe in the previous attack he rolled too low, did 1 damage. Vetronox lashed out, did 1 damage back to hoist, and that's a character trait, so it isn't ignored by Tough Hide. So we see good use of proxy bases there. Always makes it nice and clear. If it wasn't see-through, it'd be really clear, but we can't have everything, I guess. So it's another momentous push dodge, just dodging around, get momentum. Really looking for 1 more on the final attack to heal Pinvice, making it very difficult for, 5 influence Fillet by the looks of it, to go in and finish her off. It's quite a brave place to leave the ball as well. With 1 momentum by the looks of it for the Butchers, that is in Shank territory.
It is so in Shank territory.
I mean, you get close enough, you get a 2 dice tapping goal, you score that more often than not. 50% of the time.
So there's a bit of a lull here in what's going on. Me and Jamie had a very interesting conversation with JJ last night.
Yeah, and Charles Nurser, mathematician.
Charles Nurser, an actual mathematician.
Yeah.
So I had a very interesting conversation where we managed to drive them both insane, saying that everything in Guildball you do is 50-50 odds. You either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
And that seems like good maths to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's the best way to play it. If genuinely, if the odds are so stacked against you and you're aware of it, just be like, it's fine, it's a 50-50.
You can never have worse than a 50% chance.
Exactly.
Because it either does or it doesn't work.
Yeah. I'm so glad we don't have Twitch chat right now.
Yeah, God, they'd be so angry at us for saying that. I'm sure we'll bring that one up later because it seemed to really trigger JJ. Charles just found it hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he's so nice. He wasn't willing to tell us how wrong we were. JJ was more than willing to tell us how wrong we were.
So with Manu here, he looks like he's eyeing up the takeout rather than seeing the goal in front of him.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure how quickly the goal's going to disappear. Pinvice will very quickly disappear.
Fillet's going in, so. It looks like the 2 momentum was spent to stand her up.
Yep.
And she has declared a counter-attack from Pinvice here. So, bonus time in it, going all in, trying to look for that either Blood Rain, Pain Circle, one of the 2, and potentially the knockdown, but that's really high on Fillet's playbook. And 4 hits, a non-momentous Blood Rain. So everyone within 3 inches means that we're looking probably at Mother, Hoist, and Pinvice takes 2 damage and is bleed. Triggers Reanimate, removes the bleed, so no use there. Hoist and Mother both bleeding.
It's interesting that he opted to spend the 2 to clear the knockdown rather than the heal.
Yeah. But then I guess, because it means you have to spend more to get down to Reanimate, and then as soon as
and then it all goes.
Yeah. And on the counter-attack, nothing happens, so clock switches back over to the Butchers. And 3 health left on Pim Vice.
Back
Fill
on
it here,
fives.
just back to 5's going to be
But with the
swinging
bleed
in.
condition clearing, does reduce the damage output, so
Oh,
it
yeah.
does make getting that 3 damage harder.
Yep. 1 hit, 1 damage. So Philip gets 1 non-momentous damage on 1, and then 1 momentous damage on 2. So really, regardless, I think you're looking for the takeout here. Rob the engineers of that influence, and you don't really care if you get the momentum for it or not.
Nope.
1
At
non-momentous.
the very least, you're guaranteed 1.
You'd hope, yeah, from the takeout. And 1 last attack. And yeah, we got some 5's in there. Oh, all the 5's. So chooses a momentous damage result, most likely. 3 momentous damage and the dodge. Just checking ranges to see if you can engage anybody else. Looks like Mother might be in range, but
Just
did you manage that way? And 2 points to Manu for the takeout on Pimvice. And then Philip still has 2 influence left after all that, so he was really hoping to take her out in that activation with that influence to get Blood Rain.
Blood Raining 2 players that are already bleeding.
Mother is already bleeding, but Ratchet is not.
Okay.
1 damage and bleed onto Ratchet, so Blood is out there.
That
using the condition dice.
I believe I'm right in saying Meat Hook's in this lineup, correct? So there is another
yes, but she is
player in
currently hidden away behind the Piggy Wig. So
we've just been requested that we pass the blame for this performance of the engineers from the engineers player because he hasn't been taught how to play against butchers.
Oh, it's not.
But we're not doing that.
Not
We
doing
are
that.
not.
No, it's
we do not.
We don't pass blame along. It's entirely HP's fault.
Yeah. Poor guy. But no, it's all your fault, HP. Sorry. We're not digging you out of this hole.
No. But he has correctly identified the Shank threat on goal here and is going with Colossus to remove that from the table, or at least make it far more difficult.
I mean, realistically, the game's still wide open. It's a takeout against the Philip Butcher's team. You tend to come to expect those.
You accept that.
Okay, the fact
acceptable losses
was pretty grim. And
it looks like he's measuring 1 inch there. He's got snap 2 of 2 inches on Colossus.
Does indeed.
Long legs. Well, that was weird.
Interestingly, the Butcher's player, Manu over here, clearly aware of the Ratchet week. Like, he's like fish, absolute shark in the water.
Oh, sorry, I think that was a Mother activation. So, Mother there should have made the nest before she moved. HP says, I should have done that. Manu very kindly went, no, it's all right, mate, just do it. I had no control over you stopping that. He said, no takebacks.
No,
I've moved. I've made a mistake. I need to learn from these mistakes. And I agree. That's the right way to 100%. Look at the game. Is that if you keep getting given takebacks, you'll never learn from your mistakes because you keep getting let through. And finally, spending 1 influence to kick the ball to Colossus. Hidden a 4, 2 dice. Successful. Generates a point of momentum. Now, will he keep it or will he dodge 4 inches forwards?
If he wants a goal, he's got to dodge looking at the ranges.
Distance, yeah.
Doesn't have pin vice to speed her up anymore.
No. And HP is also just identified. He's just said into his mic that if he doesn't take the dodge, he can't score. So he's going to keep the momentum, not try to score this turn, and try to.
I think he's aware that
if he scores, someone else just scores for the.
Well, no, it's not so much that. I think he's aware that Shank's going to take the ball off him. He may as well keep it.
Yeah, keep the momentum to do the counter attack, push away.
How much influence does Shank have?
It looks like
Colossus
2.
does, of course, have close control. So
tackle. Yeah, you could end up with the ball, but then Colossus can just take it back.
Yeah.
So Shank there got a tackle on 2.
I think he was asking what result the tackle was on.
Okay.
I don't think he got it yet. Yeah. So dice rolled.
2s and 2. First tackle ignored. Close control triggered.
And
next attack.
Counter
attacks the next attack, which would be the tackle.
Yep.
No dodge on it. Can take the ball back, and then has his influence to make attacks.
And he does take the
Takes
tackle.
a momentous tackle. So Shank with the ball. Has already moved. Made his attacks. Can't where they go. Counter attack with 3 hits. HP takes a tackle. Non-momentous though because it is a counter attack, but he has the ball back on Colossus. And then play goes over to the Engineers.
So HP with the small, I guess I'll say misplay there, because he has just placed another momentum token next to his goal, which he shouldn't have. You don't gain momentum from counter attacks.
Yep.
I wonder how pivotal that might be.
And Colossus there just spying up to punching onto Shank. Probably looking for the knockdown and then some easier results to hit the high numbers. I believe it's non-momentous on Colossus, is that correct?
I believe so, yeah.
2, so he takes the knockdown. It is momentous.
And
then
I mean,
sprint away.
Yeah, just start making his way towards the goal, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the singled out. That is
singled out that's non-momentous. Fantastic. So, what's the rest of the turn for the Engineers here? I mean, they've got 1 influence left on Ratchet.
Run away.
Flee.
Just flee the models that have influence. It's a load. Even though we saw the takeout of Pin Vice, it was a majoritively non-momentous takeout, which we agreed was the right way to do it. She needed to be gone.
Yeah.
But whereas you would very often after the takeout expect to see 5 or 6 momentum on the side of the Butchers, there is only sort of 2 momentum on each side now.
Yes,
so
yeah. Well,
still, like, even we saw the takeout.
There's 2 on the Butchers and there's 1 in error on HP's side.
Yes, there should only be 1 on HP's due to that momentum that was generated on the counter attack that shouldn't have been.
Yeah. So I think the best thing to do here is you just go with Boar is engaged by. No, he's not engaged. If Boar's unengaged, charge him into Hoist. Just take the 2 momentous damage results each time to get that momentum.
Yeah.
Veteranox, or you could even tool him up and go in so you get the definite on 1. And then Veteranox, just go in as well, hit him a bit, just generate some momentum, guarantee go in first.
Yep.
And have Philip just continue her blaze of glory.
Mm-hmm. The alternative would be make an attack with Boar on, I believe that's velocity. In front
Oh,
of
yes,
him.
yes.
Push out the way.
Yeah.
Charge Ratchet. Start to get some damage in on Ratchet. Soften up for Philip, maybe. And just keep him locked there, because as long as Ratchet is stood there, he's just going to disappear over the other side of the table.
Model in front of Boar is Pin Vice. Is Philip. Velocity is down by the cover. Got Hoist in the centre. Ratchet is touching the Blood Rain. Mother just above it. Compound running off to Colossus running off to the side.
Curious as to whether there's a line from Boar through to Ratchet. I don't think there is.
I don't think there is. I think Philip's right in the way, which is why I think going after Hoist and just generate momentum going first, and then depending on where Ratchet ends up.
Yeah.
So if you go with Boar now, there's that sort of almost like semi-goading somebody in, like, oh look, my 3-0 model is nice and exposed.
Going forwards.
Ratchet is going forwards. Outside of 2 of Boar, but within 1 of Philip to buy an attack. So this is the thing that I was just about to say, that you could be goaded forwards with someone like Ratchet to go and buy an attack to get a momentum, because that will put you in front. But you just opened yourself up to a Boar charge.
It's not worth it for 1 momentum.
No. 1, so just 1 point of damage to Philip.
And now Boar charges.
And now Boar charges, and probably, well, has Meat Hook activated already? Yeah, she did. What I was thinking with Meat Hook is that she would just tool up Boar, and then...
Which this is a counter-attack coming through from Philip.
Oh. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yep. He is bleeding, correct?
Yes.
So this is going to be a +1 on the damage.
Takes the non-momentous Blood Rain.
Which gets Mother bleeding.
Yep. So 2 damage and the bleed condition. He's already bleeding.
So the reason that's 2 and not 3 damage is because it only functions on playbook results.
Sorry, came in from Manu there. He's just taking the 3 damage.
He's just going to take.
He's the 2 up to 3.
2 up to 3. Yeah.
Rather than he forgot that he was already bleeding, so it's like, oh, well, in that case, I'll just take the 3 damage because.
Yep, makes sense. And now he's not in any rush to go with Boar, unless Boar's already.
Well, that looks like the engineer's pretty much done.
Yep.
Besides maybe activating Velocity, because I don't think I've seen her go yet. Got Vetronox to generate 1, maybe 2 momentum. Boar to generate very likely 4.
Yep.
Things don't look great for engineers in this. At the end of this turn, Pinvice down. Ball's in a decent place for them.
The scariest part is that you're going to likely have 1, if not 2 players to come back on.
Yeah.
And the Butchers are so far up the pitch and Fillet is so fast. That's when Fillet starts to get going.
Yeah.
Is once the first 1 or 2 takeouts come through, and she can just finishing people off from half health.
You just sort of
chaining those. I win initiative. I kill another of your guys.
Yeah. And it's when you've got to start bringing your players on the board edge and just leaving them on the board edge, feeling like if you can have this kill, but you've got to bring Fillet out the game for it.
Yeah, and at that point you're kind of like entirely sacrificing. A player is essentially dead at that point. Your opponent just isn't getting VPs for it.
Yeah, and you need to put influence on them to make them an attractive target. Because if you just go, well, this model's going to come on, they're like, well, I'll kill that later. I can go kill the one with 6 influence over there.
And the moment that 5 of your players are on the board edge, I pretty much won anyway.
Oh, it looked like Boar had already activated. I can't remember him activating this turn. The Butchers win the roll-off.
Yep.
After the bleeds, I believe Ratchet was on 10 health left. I could have sworn I think it's the centre spot. It looked like there was an influence on Boar.
And I'm right in saying Fillet heals that damage that Ratchet did because he was bleeding?
This is the ruling from the Lawyers Guild that is a confusing one. So Fillet needs to go second to benefit from that because... Oh no, sorry, she needs to go first. Yes, she will heal. Because they're suffering the bleed condition during her maintenance phase. Yep. If she goes second and they bleed out, you check during her maintenance phase, and then they're not bleeding, so they doesn't get the benefit. It's a slightly confusing one, and it's more of a rules as written than rules as intended ruling on that one. But if we start muddying the waters with, we intended it to be like this, but we wrote it the wrong way, so you got to go as written.
That makes sense. So the main point I was, I guess, alluding to there is he came in and did 1 damage with Ratchet.
It got healed.
Gets healed.
Yep. Well, with Fillet, though, you expect to be winning most initiative roll-offs, so you should be healing anyway. And if not, then...
Didn't realise Fillet had goad.
Wee.
I'm so funny.
So, HP there's just thinking, so you're engaging Ratchet, you could probably kill him. Can you go and do Pinvice afterwards?
Reanimate keeps it safe.
And I say, Reanimate is the... No, I can't from that one. I could go take away Reanimate, potentially, but...
The bigger part, Fillet ideally needs a bleeding target to get them gone, and Reanimate just kind of makes that much more inefficient than it would be otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, what HP needs to be careful of is where he positions Pinvice to make sure he's done the right thing there. I thought he was going to bring her on too close to Ratchet, trigger out a Blood Rain, or Pain Circle.
I think the positioning of bringing players back on is actually pretty easy for HP here. Yeah. Despite Fillet's the main threat, but generally when you've got Reanimate, you would assume you're generally going to be safe from that threat.
Yeah.
And then you look at the way the Butchers outside of Fillet are predominantly, though they are relatively central. As you look at the centre of the pitch, they tend to break out to what would be HP's left.
Yes.
So if you stick to the right, you're at least forcing them to start to move around.
Move back.
Or you're kind of luring Manu into this, okay, your 2 targets over there are Hoist and Velocity.
Yeah.
Enjoy taking like 3 turns to kill those.
Yeah. So it looks like we're going with Fillet. We've got the non-momentous Blood Rain, which means Ratchet takes 3 damage and bleeding, and Mother also starts bleeding. So Ratchet down to 8 health left.
It's funny how you look at the sort of effect a mascot can have. I'd probably be looking for take out Ratchet, try and take out Mother here.
Yeah, why not?
because
it's two activations as well.
It's not just the two activations; it's the effect Mother can have on.
Oh yeah.
You know, you basically say, yeah, Hoist isn't doing anything weird.
Yeah.
Probably for the rest of the game at that point.
Yeah.
Chooses not to take the dodge from, I believe, is it Blood Dance?
Yes,
Is that what that trait's called?
It's time 9 dice, bonus time, attack coming in. Looking for 3s with armor 1. 5 hits, but 4 momentous damage, which takes off Ratchet.
So we take a 2-inch dodge.
2-inch dodge, one for the result.
Blood Dance dodge and the one for the result.
And one for Blood Dance. Which puts Manu up to 4.
4 for the Butchers. I mean, I suspect this is going to be 4 all before long.
Oh yeah.
Depending on how under pressure HP feels. This is kind of the point where you get to test, I guess, the easiest way I could phrase it is your tournament experience.
Yeah, do you see the goals or take it?
Not so much do I see the goal on the table, but am I aware enough of this situation that I feel like I have to, I guess is the way I would look at it. Because as soon as he scores, you're putting the potential for it to go 8-4. If he scores now, I think the game is very nearly over. Yeah. But if he doesn't score, I'm not sure if that situation changes much. It's just a slower, drawn-out process.
Yeah. We see, Philip going into Hoist here and doing sort of a decent amount of damage. Takes no momentous blood rain, 2 damage down to 1, and he's now bleeding.
They're just removing that tough hide.
Yeah. One last attack. Coming in. Going for 4s and 1. Decent number of hits. Looks like it'll be another 4 down to 3 momentous damage.
Yep.
And a 1-inch dodge as well. 2-inch with the dodge. So players here just explaining whilst the hands were going there was that I've done 3 up to 4, but then your tough high brings it down to 3. So I've said 3 damage, which stays at 3.
Yep. And I believe that leaves Hoist on 1 health, but Reanimate
has yet to trigger, which is doable for Boar.
Yeah, interestingly for this one, I don't know. I mean, I guess you got worth out of it. It was a grand total of 4 damage, and I think if you hadn't taken the bleed and you'd taken the damage, you'd work out the exact same amount of damage. I'm not gonna lie, I can't see where Meat Hook is. Is she up?
She is. If you see where
left-hand side of Shank.
Yeah, so just to the left of Shank and sort of looking at Colossus.
Peculiar position in there. Usually, you'd expect to see Fillet and her kind of tag teaming.
Fillet and her, or Boar and her. I mean, she's fantastic for disengaging Boar. She's got the double push really reliably, and the single push is very reliably. Well, you
just kind of have those as a cluster. They're all similar kind of threat range models, and there's a lot of synergy that goes across them all.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I always am baffled at, and when I was playing at the Rusty Cup with Butchers, I found with Meat Hook a lot, was that I'd go in with her first most times, hit somebody.
She's just such a set-up piece. And
you get hooked, you get bleed, and then I'd heroic and be like, well, you're -4/-4 movements.
Yes,
you're not escaping.
Yep.
And Boar or Fillet, well, I didn't use Fillet, I used the Ox for the entire tournament, but Boar will now come in, and you can't go away from where you are. And I think it's like Sanguine Pool is her heroic, I think.
Yes.
I so very rarely see it, because she typically hangs 4 inches behind somebody.
She doesn't have a knockdown in her playbook, right?
That's correct.
So that is her. She has that as her knockdown. The one I often miss with the Butchers is that Boiler has a knockdown. I forget it all the time.
It's devastating on 3 hits knockdown. You're like, oh god, the kid
with anatomical precision. And I forget it. I always get their playbooks mixed up.
Yeah.
And I always assume Meat Hook does have one.
Yeah.
Boiler doesn't.
But no,
it's the other way around. But no, it's a good point. And with the amount of momentum you make with a Butchers team.
Yeah. Well,
what's one?
What's one? Like, Meat Hook goes in, hits, 1 damage, blood, hooked, heroic.
Yep.
And that 1 hit is just devastating to a player, because they are locked in place for that entire time. So interesting to see her up there. And, she could even go hit Colossus, do that to him. And it's like, you know what? you're a
just
2.
locked, you're staying where you are.
You now can't score because I hit you.
So I believe that was a hoist activation we just saw.
Yes.
He basically took push dodges to get out of there, and I
Yeah.
believe came out of that with 2 momentum.
Yeah.
And then he has skedaddled over.
It also looks from his card. It looks like he healed as well,
Yes.
which is just horrible to see.
Yeah, I mean, hoist card makes him hard enough to kill.
Yeah,
You
healing.
add in the momentous actions you can do.
Yep.
We look at the.
I wonder if we'll see Meathook doing what I said. She's gone into buy an attack.
Tackling. She got enough influence to do.
We'll see 4 results. Momentous tackle, so triggers the.
So I think he's just going to try and get the ball and boot it away, assuming she had 3 influence.
Yeah, I think she only had the 1 on her by the looks of it.
I think trying to force the hand in.
Yeah,
so you have to decide what you're doing with this, or I'm coming in and taking it.
Yeah.
But as I was going to go on to say, we look at the guild identity cards and what
they're
going to bring to the game. Hoist.
Yeah.
3 momentum to give him 8 points of health left.
Oh, currently
is
Yeah.
currently
two.
That is, I mean, it's his suite of abilities like defensive tech on his card. Don't get me wrong, that contributes.
Yeah.
That's what gets the machine going, so to speak. But being able to give him 8 health back when they've before reanimate's triggered, it's just like, okay, that is an entire turn
of wastage. Yeah.
So I've spent 11 influence, and you've removed that 11 influence did for 3 momentum.
The interesting one, I think, for Hoist would be the regenerate one. So he always gets 2 HP back at the start of each turn, but only heals 2.
Yep. Yeah, that could be really good. Like that, reanimate is triggered.
Yeah.
Like so triggers to conditions.
Yeah.
But he still has 5 health.
Just 5 health's enough, and then if he goes first, back up to 7, he's still pretty healthy.
Yeah.
We see Pinvice here coming in on Shank, probably trying to dodge around, get some momentum.
Yeah.
Maybe throw out an alternator onto Colossus, though I don't think it's particularly needed.
Controller, just make him go.
Oh, sorry, that's the one I was thinking. Controller. Yeah. That's the one. Go for momentous 2 damage and a dodge.
2 damage and a dodge.
Lots of hits. Must be a charge in. Get all those dice.
One thing I forgot to mention: we don't have the dice cam.
Oh yes.
While we're here,
so we're very much like you. We're staring at the screen, and unfortunately, we can't give the in-depth analysis that we gave at our previous stream.
Yeah. That's just a product of us being in Belgium. We're not, 10 minutes away from the office.
Yeah.
However, I think I'm right in saying nothing broke.
Correct. Touch wood.
Everything survived. Touch wood.
Well, just shut the journey back. Cracking roll there. Looks like lots of 6s off the box cards.
That's one thing I can definitely see is 6s. They show up nice and clear.
5 hits, I think, after everything there. Looking at getting close to. So HP there saying he's within 3 inches of Meathook, so he's going to take 3 damage, double dodge. Get to engage Meathook. HP there saying he keeps forgetting to take his momentum from previous attacks, but he keeps forgetting to put it down. He's like, I'm really sorry. Do you mind if I take momentum from the previous attacks? Which is why he just put 2 momentum coins down then. One last attack onto Meathook this time. And saying, no, I don't want to do any counter-attacks. And rolls lots of 6s again. 3 hits. Just waiting for results to come in now. Momentous 1 damage and a dodge. Quite a bit of damage there from Pinvice put out.
Yeah, she's more than capable of putting them out. I mean, one thing that's generally true across most butchers is they kind of fit that, I guess, glass cannon style, where it's their defense is killing what can kill me.
Yes, yeah.
Then, I mean, 4-1's a good defensive stat line, don't get me wrong, and there are a decent amount of butchers that have that.
Yeah.
But you look across their more aggressive players, they generally are more prone to taking a high amount of damage in return.
Yeah.
But oh boy, do they put it out.
Yeah. It's always one of my favourite games is Brewers Butchers, because you both want to play the same game, and if the Brewers can keep the heels up,
Yep.
it becomes very difficult for the Butchers to get...
Keep the heels up and deny as many damage buffs as they can,
Yeah,
so you get as much value out of Tough Hide as possible.
Back in seasons 1 and 2, before the secondary captains were released, the Butchers into Brewers was such a tough game because Stave would just knock Ox away. They'd be like, oh no, all our momentous damage is now really weak against Tapper and Hooper.
Yep.
And then it was always that who activates first, Ox or Tapper, because the other one's going to kill the other, and then their team get the damage buff for the turn.
I remember one of my first games very early in Season 1, back when I played at my old club in Hastings, was I kind of never knew, I'd never really played Brewers, I didn't really know what was going on with them. And I picked up Tapper, and I remember the first game I played with him was against Nox Brewers team, and Tapper went in and just deleted Ox, and I was like, oh, he's scary.
He's scary, Killy, yeah.
I kind of saw commanding aura, and I looked at the other players like Hooper and saw the immediate synergy, and I was like, no, he's terrifying by himself, because I can nearly kill you and then give myself more influence to finish you.
The old Jakes. So coming back in here, it looks like we're seeing Shank activate, going in and trying to steal that ball off of Colossus.
It should be relatively easy with close control down. Just take the tackle.
Takes the momentous tackle. And passes play over to...
The velocity left to go.
And Colossus. Looks like he's got his
mother gone yet?
Influence on him.
Don't think mother's gone yet either.
So we're just listening on the players. Engineers there being like, if I can win the start of next turn, I could probably, if I go for a goal now, if I win the start of the next turn, then I could maybe.
He's sort of saying, he's essentially saying, what I want, given what I want to do, I probably go into this dice roll 2 momentum down.
Yeah.
Or at least assessing the table as it is. I'm a Veteran Ox with 2 momentum, and the only influence left on Colossus.
We still got Boar with 1 on him, which is another takeout.
So
Colossus here just buying attacks, getting the ball back probably off Shank is the intention. It's got all 4 hits. Surely you take the tackle. Well, it's interesting because you take the tackle, the Butcher's probably going to win this momentum race. Takes the tackle.
Yeah, I don't think there's much that can happen. HP is more than aware of the fact he's going into this roll-off for the next turn. That's the point where he, as far as he's concerned, wins or loses that game.
Yes.
And he's aware he probably goes into that dice roll unlikely to win it.
Yep. Manu there eyeing up Hoist as the easier takeout of Velocity and Hoist.
We are finding out who does and doesn't watch our streams here.
Yeah.
Manu, come on.
Oh, there you go. He sorted. HP is just checking, like, have I already activated people? And HP checking, has he already died? Do I have reanimate still? There's no token down next to him saying reanimate used.
He does have reanimate still, so he went down to 1 health.
Yeah,
and then he was healed back up.
Yeah.
So reanimate's still good.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Veteran Ox here, just walking over, generate momentum, try and go first, let Philip go off into someone else.
It might be a case of just drag Velocity out of cover and start getting her.
And who's Boar's charge option here? Currently, only really... Oh, I guess you've got Pimvice, but that might be a bit of a long 8 inches. Mother, I think just go farm the momentum from Mother, get her killed.
Or push Velocity towards
him, yeah.
But I think, again, Philip's done a pretty good job of blocking any charge lane that might be on that.
Yeah. So it looks like HP, they're just saying, what's Boar's threat? Was it 9? Is it no, 8 inches. And now gets the 8-inch stick and positions everybody within that away.
I don't think Mother's gone yet, which is why I would have gone with Boar rather than Ox, to...
Yeah, so we see Mother here was the only option, just leaving.
It's a lot of momentum denied.
Yeah, 4 momentum, just gone. And actually, potentially, puts it back in his favour, in HP's favour. He's now got 6 momentum down there. Butchers have lost that chance to get 4.
So I'm right in saying that Veteranox has Vindictive Human, right?
Yes.
So those charges on
I don't think that was a charge, was
Mechanica,
it?
I'm pretty sure he had 2 influence on him. I could be wrong, though.
It's 2 influence, but he was in range to walk over and just attack twice. He's tack 8,
Okay.
so what looks like a lot of dice might just be his natural tack.
I didn't see any momentum go into his pile. He was on 4 previously, and after that Ox activation, so I'm guessing just didn't roll well.
Yeah. I think what plays that just got music? So he just said I'm charging for free against velocity. So it's Vindictive Human to begin with.
So that
doesn't work.
And
then
it's not free. It's just -1.
It's -1. So it would cost 1 still, but that is also Wingback that does that ability. And so the pig was in the Guildball. That is not within 8 inches.
That is not a legal maneuver by the pig. The pig is
everything was illegal. It's an illegal pig.
Pig playing dirty.
Yeah. That was all wrong.
So you know HP saying that his excuse earlier was that someone hadn't taught him how to play against butchers.
Yeah, I don't think
that is now a fair excuse because he wasn't able to go. That's not how the pig works.
Yeah. HP, they're going. I forgot to remove bleed on pretty much everybody.
Silly me. Because 3 damage hurts.
Yeah. So at the end of all that, it was 5 momentum each, but 5 to Manu, but 6 to HP. So I feel that's karma playing up there for the incorrect pig maneuver.
Yeah. So the two misplays, the one with the pig doesn't really come into it in the grand scheme of things. No. The misplay was not going with Boar.
Yeah.
That was just a straight misplay. If he'd gone in,
if he goes with Boar,
he could just kill Mother.
Just takes out Mother.
Free VP.
Yeah. Free VP, free activation.
Not sure what the time on the clocks are, but ultimately,
it looks like 20 minutes to one side, and about 18. It looks like on the other one. You can see on the top of the screen there. It's not entirely visible, but
the reason I bring up the clocks is the 1 VP from Mother could be pivotal once you get to clocking out. Just making yourself you're edged 1 ahead.
Yeah, it just puts you 1 ahead. Yeah, means that if you do both clock out, you've got that advantage from the off.
Yeah,
which I have seen win games at the event at the Athena Open the other weekend that I attended. There was an instance where both players had clocked out, and the only kill on the table was the mascot. And he's like, if I take this
and then run away
and then leave,
do I just sort of?
I will win on the clock. Yeah. So I will kill your mascot. You can have all the benefits from me killing it, but I'm now in the lead on the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ratchet! That's not a fantastic place.
Am I right in saying that event at Athena
I think Mother got taken out there with the bleed condition. That's what he was saying. I forgot to do it. So she's come back on. So it is currently 5-0 to Manu.
I'm right in saying that you put up a blog post about your trip to...
I did, yes.
Yeah. So if you want to give that a read and see what good old handsome Giblin had to say about the event at Athena, go and give that a read. I'm sure it's very good.
Thank you. Have you read it? No,
I have actually read it.
Oh,
I did legitimately read it. You had a game against Stephen Easton at some point and managed to win, right?
Yes, I've managed to break the curse.
And then you played a lot of Fishermen and it didn't go too hot for you.
Oh, I beat one of the Fisherman players. James Long, the overall winner of the event, he beat me 12-0. It was rough. Yep. He played the fish perfectly, where they all flood into your half at the end of turn one. And you go,
you have nowhere to put this ball, and I'm just going to keep rattling it in.
Yeah, nowhere is safe. You've got Greyscales on one flank, Sakana on the other, Shark in the centre, Angel dipping it in your own half for behind. For if I do score, you've got that just kick out to her. And I was like,
rough seas.
Rough seas, yeah. Rough seas for Giblin. What didn't help in that game was every turn, bonus time, blind and gold on the key players, missed every time. I was like, come on.
It's 50% chance.
50% chance. There it is.
And you got the wrong end.
I got the wrong end of
50%
every single time.
Do you know what would improve your odds on that? Don't be bad.
Yeah.
Stop being bad.
Stop being bad.
Stop going for
that
silly plays that are less than 50%.
I think that game was James Long's first victory over me in competitive Guildball, so I was like, it's just a tournament of broken curses.
I bet he was so glad to have that, to break that one.
Yeah.
How many times have you won Vengeance, Jamie? Still zero?
Well, I've never competed in it, so I have
still zero.
Still 0, but it's 0 for 0, so 100%.
Yep, okay.
That's how that works.
You have a 50% chance of winning it next
Next
year.
one, yeah.
Yep.
Because that'll be 1. Yeah. That's not how math works at all.
What do you mean, Jamie? Don't change sides on me now. So Pinvice going, popping up deletion.
Yeah, so I think
trying to get rid of Meat Hook here.
Meat Hook or Shank, both.
Well, I was curious as to whether we're going to see. I don't know how much health Meat Hook's on, but I'm curious as to whether we could get a deletion, kill, controller, Colossus goal.
Yeah,
but I don't
think there's enough influence out there.
I don't think there's enough influence on the table to do that.
Yeah. So HV there saying, "Oh, I had a dodge. I should have dodged away from Shank, so I'm not losing a dice. I'm just gaining 1 from Colossus." But mistakes were made.
Well, so
yeah,
he needs to learn when you can roll really well.
Yeah, just keep shoring your mistakes up with lucky rolling.
Yep, that's how I play.
8 health left on Meat Hook now, with what looks like 3 influence left. So
with a relatively reliable 2, if he dodges out, should be good.
Yeah,
deletion's up. So it's 9 damage, realistic, if assuming that Pinvice dodges.
Yeah. So he still wants to be in melee with both.
Just
wants to keep Shank nice and close. So if she does take out Meat Hook, she bounces into base contact.
Yeah.
Oh, he's change targets onto Shank. Don't ever split your fire, guys.
Nope.
If you are putting up deletion or you're tooled up,
if you're going in to get some,
you get VPs. You go for VPs. Pick a target.
Free momentum.
Yeah.
You just add 1 to whatever momentum you're going to generate.
Yeah.
And with Meat Hook, you remove a big source of support.
Yeah. So dodging out of Meat Hook's melee into Shank's. That's an interesting call from HP there. I think it's a misplay. Whenever she's going to take damage at the end of this. Just take if you have the option to, you take a player out. Oh, that was
Manu.
Manu's counter attack there. 4-1. That 2 successful hits for Pinvice there. He's checking the damage numbers. Momentous dodge, so I'm not going to kill you, so I'm just going to take some momentous results.
So it's interesting that we heard HP say, like, if I win the next turn, I think the game's still on.
Yeah.
And then I just don't feel like he's capitalised on the fact he won that initiative roll at all.
No.
Like, sure, he's building up a stack of momentum, but I feel like he's...
Takes another momentous dodge. I think Shank looks to be on pretty low health. Oh, no, he's not. He's got like 14 health left. He's healthy as a horse.
How healthy is a horse?
It's 14 healthy.
14. You measure them in hands, not health.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Damn it.
14 hands. And then 3 damage at the end. So it just seems like a very nothing activation.
Yeah, like you got a load of momentum ready to... I don't really know.
Boar's coming in. Boar time. He's coming in on Pinvice.
Yeah. And Boar's in a good part of town over there.
Oh yeah, he's a happy place.
It's interesting though. If you rewind like a turn's worth of activations and you look at how they were central more to HP's left, Manu's right, and now they're not central at all.
No,
nor are they pressed forward.
Now they've been fought back into their own half. But
well, I wouldn't have said fought. I mean, I think Manu's just aware that if I want to kill anyone...
6 hits. 4 momentous damage.
So I believe that's 3 left until the reanimate triggers.
Next attack, Berserk coming in. 3 health plus reanimate left on Pinvice, confirmed by the players there. Sorry, we're just listening into their conversation.
Not really worth going for the knockdown.
No, not at all.
You just get rid of reanimate.
Yeah.
Ideally, get to reanimate at a point where you can make a Berserk attack and take a knockdown after the reanimate's gone.
Then paying for an attack now. She has Pinvice has 1 health left with reanimate, and is choosing to bonus time it. When you've got your 1 damage on 1, I don't understand the logic there.
I mean, I think he's just
2 momentous damage, just guaranteeing the reanimate triggering.
Berserk attack looking for bonus the 3 damage spike. He wants to see if he can get her with Boar. 50% chance. Either does or he doesn't. That is 3 damage.
3 momentous damage. There you go. 50-50 chance. Pays off for him.
Yep, every time.
And that is 7-0 to Manu.
And
he plays man marking to just
the captain's gone down.
Rub salt into the wound.
Yep, that's.
And he's going to spend 2 momentum to heal Shank as well.
And that in a turn that HP won the
initiative roll.
If anything would demonstrate to you an ineffective use of the first activation after winning initiative,
that was it.
There's an example for you.
It's a rough one for HP, this one. Colossus needs to just go for the goal and save some face here.
Yeah, I guess.
I think this is going to be one of those games that comes down to, I need you to miss a shot on goal for me to have a chance.
Or 2.
Or 2. Yes. And we'll see the proxy base there measuring the shot on goal. Well, measuring the sprint distance. Probably looking to tackle the ball off Shank.
Fun fact, if Colossus was velocity, could have scored in turn 1.
Yeah. Oh, just in, Russ Charles has won his first game for Steamforged. Team Paint.
Boo. Sorry, I'm supposed to support them, aren't I?
I don't know. We'll decide.
Who are we supposed to root for?
I don't know.
Are we supposed to be entirely neutral?
I think we're neutral.
Call it straight down the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Parting blow. Full 6 hits. There's no point tackling. He's got close control.
Yep.
So 3 momentous damage down to 2 with a push. Push does nothing because it's a parting blow.
But he does get hooked.
Hooked, bleeding. Makes the kick. Shot on goal. Don't know what he's waiting for. Thinking the bonus time. 5 dice.
May as well. If the one thing he got in his first activation is momentum.
Yeah. Makes the goal. So that is 7-4.
Judging on how nonchalantly that goal was received.
He's like, yeah, cool.
He's awesome. Like, this is a consolation. I'm aware that this is a consolation goal. Yeah. I'll take my 4 VPs and be happy with it.
Yeah.
But I know that you're perfectly fine with it too.
Yeah, spends illegally there, spent 1 momentum to remove the condition, and he just he just remembered it. Well remembered. So I've scored. That ends my activation. I should have done that before I took the shot. Ball here being punted out to Philip. Philip probably going to go score.
Direction 6.
So 6, 4 inches. I mean, she's got to go backwards for it, but I think she might have the speed to do it there. She has quick foot, or the other one. No. So they have.
That's incorrect. So because it's a kick out from the goal.
Kick out from the goal, it ignores everything. The players there just saying, we don't know the rules for this. And just checking with other players how it happens. Players here pausing.
Just to check with the judge.
Yeah, the call of judge there. Really, just checking how it works.
Loud in my
very loudly in the microphone. Yeah. Just some news that just come in. USA Team 1, or USA Red, have beaten Sweden 1, or Sweden Smorgasbord.
Okay.
Team Sweden have gone with the best naming things, and they have just named it with weird, cool Swedish names.
Every Swedish stereotype.
Yeah.
So are is that the first team win?
That's the first team victory, yeah.
So
USA Red, the first team victory. First team to finish all 3 games. And they won 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Judges there come sorted out, says it goes over the...
It doesn't hit anything.
Just up there.
So that's on Ox. Did he snap it? I'm not
It looks like it's been snapped too. I would expect it to be snapped too.
Just make him nice and easy.
Yeah. So, spend 1, hit velocity, kick to fill it, is successful.
Nailed it.
From that, I think you just leave it there. She's dodging the 4 inches. Momentum generated.
I mean, you go towards the players with the lowest tack.
Yeah.
This is what you want to be doing there.
Yeah.
And he wants to make sure he's not within the nest marker.
Yeah.
And then
back over to the engineers. And what's the play here? Mother? Get Ratchet away?
You need to be careful, because
both
if
Ratchet
Philip
and
gets Mother again...
That's up to 8 goal.
Or
and HP there's just said that's pretty much the game. You can take out Ratchet or Mother. You'll get the other, and you can score as well. He doesn't see anything. He said he can't see any way out of this, so he's just got to make his choice really, and then heal the other one. Yep. I'd probably go with. I'd
move Ratchet away, because you don't need to heal Mother. I'm pretty sure Mother comes back on full health, right?
Mascots still come on at half health.
Are they still half?
Yeah. So I think I'd take.
Yeah, sorry, it's still half. So
I think I'd sprint away with.
I think
Mother.
The math slightly supports that Mother would be harder to kill than Ratchet. So after healing, Ratchet would have 13 health at 3-1.
Yeah, but the thing is that Ratchet has the counter attacks available to him.
So does Mother.
Well, Mother's got the push dodge on 2, but he's attack 3 against the Def 5 model, whereas Ratchet's attack 5, and if he gets 2 hits, he can...
So that push dodge on attack 3, 50% chance.
Good call. Good call. Result in, England won, have won. All the games haven't finished, but they've won 2 of their 3 games. They have successfully got through.
The round 1.
Yep. And yes, it looks like we've got...
Going in on Mother.
Philip going on Mother, so will we see a mascot takeout and goal? What do you think? Call it now, 50-50.
Yeah.
It's going to happen? It's going to happen. Well, with a roll like that, yes, it's going to happen.
I did that before the dice roll.
Yeah, you did.
Just to clarify.
Yep. Non-momentous Bloodbrain is bleeding 2 damage.
That's her dead. Not really much more to say on that.
No. So 8 dice, needing 4s and 1. 3 after armor. 3 momentous damage. I think Mother was healed
4
up.
4 to go.
It's the same. You don't have reanimate on this one, do you? Oof.
So yeah, 4. I think 4 health left.
Yeah.
It
4
is
left.
4 life left.
Bonus time in it. And
That's
big hits. Big hits. 6 hits. I think that's it. 4 momentous damage and a dodge. Base to base with the goal. HP, they're saying, you don't have to rub this in my face. You have to touch the goal.
Well, it's embarrassing if it misses.
It's currently on 8, but 4 dice. Needs a single 3+. Will he score? Yes, he does.
That's game.
And that is game.
So
it is 12-4 to Manu.
Manu and his Philip-led Butchers.
Yep.
We don't have any other results from this matchup of Sweden versus Finland.
Switzerland, Finland.
Sorry, Switzerland, Finland. So we don't have any other results from that. Manu was representing...
Unsure. We do have results in. So, Manu representing Switzerland there, so victory for them, and that means that they have won the round, as Richard, with his engineers, also managed to take a win against Ascari Backman with his hunters.
Okay.
So, congratulations to Switzerland there winning the first round. Let's see how they progress in the tournament.
Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yep.
This one will just be on YouTube.
It's just on YouTube, so I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, be sure to comment down below. Let us know what you thought of it. And we shall see you in the next video. And hopefully we'll get this internet sorted and we'll be streaming to you so you can be rewatching.
Fingers crossed. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you. See you soon.